Anisha. Let's wait for others as well to join. Then we can quickly get started. Okay. Meanwhile, Karthik, hope you will give demo on this, Saturday or Sunday, right? So I think mostly on Saturday. Let's try to give a demo. Okay. And Arun, hi. So you're supposed to. Karthik, are you speaking? I can't hear you.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Saturday or Sunday, I will give, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay.
Yes.
Now, Arun, you're supposed to give demo, right? So yeah, when will you plan it? I think Deepthi, Anusha, and Veda has completed their demos. Now only you two are left, Karthik and Arun. So yeah, please try to complete it on Saturday itself. Okay. So this Saturday, let's try to complete those demos. Okay.
Sir, MySQL is not working, sir.
MySQL is not working.
Yes, sir. I downloaded yesterday, 1 week before. That
Okay.
time it's working. Now I uninstall that, but I download.
Postgres. You mean?
No, sir. MySQL is I download again, but it
Okay.
is not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Let's see. Let's see. We'll try to figure it. We'll take it offline. So we'll try to do that. Okay.
Okay,
Fine.
sir.
Yeah. Everyone there.
Maybe version is changing, right, sir?
Yeah, there will be some small configuration issues that we need to tackle. So otherwise, you will face issues. Okay, those things will
Okay.
take care. No worries about that. Okay,
Okay, sir.
um, fine. So Deepti is to join. Okay, let me ping her. Okay, yeah. So let's start our today's class. Okay, so till let me share my screen. Okay, fine. So on day before yesterday, I think in the last class, what we are discussing is we're just trying to ingest the data from landing to branch, right? So that's what we discussed on the last class. Okay, let's go and see ETL job. Okay, so these are the jobs which were built on the last, right? Last class. Okay, so customer ingest from landing to branch. Okay, so these are the functions we created. This is for initializing the Spark with Iceberg, and then SC utilities like this is to list Parquet files. We have seen line by line code, right? We haven't done the overall function. We also see in the we have executed every line by line, and then we see what's it's happening. Okay, and move files to processed. Okay, then load Parquet files. How we are going to load Parquet files as a data frame. So that also we see, and how to write that table into iceberg table. Okay, so then write to iceberg. Okay, write to iceberg. Then main function. This is the place where the orchestration will happen. Orchestration in the sense like the flow, entire flow. Which see you have function 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5, 6. So total 6 functions are there. But how do you organize them? So the function 1 is supposed to run first, and then the function 2, then function 3. Like how do you order these 6 functions, right? So this is the place where you will orchestrate everything. Okay, step 1, list Parquet files. Okay, and step 2, read the Parquet files. And step 3, create a target iceberg table name, and then write into iceberg table. Then step 5, once because you will move to step 5 if and only if your tables are ingested successfully, then you will move to step 5, where you will move the processed files into processed folder location, right? Then finally you will exit the job. So like these steps, right? This main will take care of that orchestration now. Okay, so okay, fine. Now today, let's try to build between bronze to silver. Okay, what is bronze? What is silver? If I go and see here, right, this is the bronze Amazon DB. These are the tables which I built, customer table, and we already discussed that these are the iceberg tables. Fine, iceberg tables. Super. Now from an iceberg table, okay, read from an iceberg table and build an iceberg table out of it. Simple. Okay, so our next task will be to oops, okay, so Okay, fine. Okay, so now we need to read. Okay, again, let's try to figure out all the steps we are involving here. Okay, now landing to bronze is completed now. Fine, landing to bronze is completed. Now it is from yeah. Okay, now bronze to silver. Okay, but if you observe clearly, bronze to silver and silver to gold has a similar pattern. What are the similar pattern? Okay, from landing to right, it's a different pattern. Okay, landing to right, it's a different pattern. Okay, because here the source is equal to a parquet files and destination is equal to iceberg table. I'm just talking about the source formats. Okay, but if you observe here the format, if you talk about the format, okay, so source will be iceberg, okay, and destination is also iceberg, right? Simple. So source and format, destination both are icebergs here, similar to silver to gold as well. Okay, same here. So here the source is iceberg table and this is the destination is also iceberg table, because this destination of this landing to raw job is act as a source for this bronze to silver. Okay, so now you will read this iceberg table which you created in the landing to raw job, and then you will build a one more destination iceberg table. Now again you will pick the data from this bronze silver table and then create a gold table. Okay, so that's what you will do. Okay, so that's why you, these two have a similar approach. Fine. Okay, now let's try to see what are the things we are going to do here. Okay, I'll again try to copy paste from the last. What are the other steps we mentioned? Okay, so there are steps. Okay, I think okay. Maybe let me put these things here. Okay, fine. Now bronze to silver. Let me take this as steps. Okay, steps. Okay, fine. Let's go to bronze to silver. Iron to silver. Rai is done. Okay, let's go to bronze to silver. Okay, let me copy this. Paste. Okay, bronze to silver, silver to gold. They pasted it two times. Okay, fine. Step one: list the objects inside the bucket. If any parquet file found, and let's read them and all. But but it's an iceberg table. Then this step won't be available. Exit. Okay. Now simple. Read data from source table. Okay, source iceberg table. Let's consider. Let's always try to do it in this way. Okay, if full load, how do you find the full load? Okay, so then maybe let's do it this way. First, always check if the target table exists or not. Yeah, the first step is to check if the target table exists or not. Okay, so if the target table exists, that means it's not the full load. Okay, you know, right? If the target table exists, then it's never the full load. The target table does not exist, then we can consider that as a full load. Okay, check if the target table exists. If exist, then full load. Okay, full load. Full load the data, uh, or I think the target table exists, then incremental load. Load the data. If not, create the new SBIT table. SBIT table and do full load. Okay, fine. Now, if the target table exists or not, how do you check? With the help of check target table exist function. Okay, so this with the help of this function you will do it. Fine. Let me list those things here. Okay, then based on this I will decide whether to go with full load or incremental load. And by the way, you know what is incremental load? Incremental or CDC or delta, all this load means that, okay, let's say you read how we design this landing to branch. You have multiple files, okay, multiple files. I talk about this 365 days problem, right? Let's say 365 days you have like 365 files. Fine, but every day there is a new file coming in. Okay, are we going to read all the files, or are we going to read only the unprocessed files? We are going to read only the unprocessed files. We never read the already processed files, right? Similarly here, we always read the new data, new CDC data. How do we identify? I will let you know, but we always read the new data. We never read the old data. Okay, what is that? What does that mean? Okay, fine. Let's say in your iceberg table you created on a full load. What is full load? That means there is no target table exist. Okay, you are planning to create a table, but there is no target table. I mean, there is no table. You wanted to do some ingestion into some target table, fine, but the target table does not exist. Then are you able to do it? No, you need to create a table, then you need to do it. Fine. Okay, then how can you do it? Just simple, read the table from your source table and just create a target table out of it. How do you create? Read the table, create a data frame, and create target table. That's it. Fine, that's a full load for you. That means you load entire data. But now if you found a new table, if you found the table, that table exists, then always look for the incremental. Incremental means CDC or delta, whatever you call it as. That means, let's say table 1 has first run, table's first run has 10 records. Now again 5 records got added to that. That means you need to process only the newly added 5 records, because those are the incremental load for you, those are the CDC load for you, those are the delta load for you. Okay, you're not going to pick all the 15 records, you're going to pick only the 5 records, newly added 5 records. How do you pick it? You know the snapshots comparison concept, right? If you compare between the snapshot 1 and snapshot 2, you can find these records. That I will show you, fine, for sure. But but okay, so how do you do those things? How do you do this? First thing, always check for the target table existent. Based on that check, okay, let's say you wanted to create a customer table in the silver layer. Fine, then always check for the table's existence. That's what I'm doing here. Check if the table exists or not. Then if the table exists, then do incremental load the data. If not, create the new SBT table and do full load. That's the scenario here. Okay, so okay, so that's what we are going to do. Okay, fine, always look for the target table existence, and this will decide whether the table is full load or not. Now based on that, read data from the iceberg table. Okay, read full data. I mean, if it's a full load means, okay, full load, always do select a star from table. That's it. Okay, if incremental load, select star from table. Okay, for version as of you need to find the difference between the two snapshots, right? Because earlier snap, like whenever you insert your 10 records into your iceberg table, that will create a snapshot 1 for you. Okay, whenever you added extra 5 records to that iceberg table, it will create a snapshot 2 for you. Fine. Now with the help of these two snapshots, if I do the difference, right, if I go and read that table na, so that will give me the 15 records. Fine, but out of that 15 records, 10 records are ingested in the full load and 5 records are ingested in the CDC load. I mean incremental that load, right? Now if you try to create the difference between these two snapshot IDs, I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so try to create the difference between these two snapshot IDs, then you can find those extra records, right? If you remember exactly, uh, if you remember exactly on the day before yesterday, right? So here currently I'm seeing it. Let me run it. See, 67 records, right? First 50 records are created first. I mean, first we created 50 records. Later, we created 17 records. Now you are able to see all 67 records here. But 50 records are processed. Let's say if the moment you have the 50 records, uh, then your job ran and your job loaded these 50 records, done some transformations on top of these 50 records, and loaded into silver table. Fine. Now you have extra 17 records. Now are you going to read the entire 67 records or only the 17 records? You are supposed to read only the 17 records. That's the incremental data for you. Okay, I'm stressing so much on this incremental data because so that you will understand what is incremental data, delta data, or cities data, whatever you call it as. Okay, already process some x number of records, and now in the next run you're not going to process those x number of records. You're going to process the the extra records that arrived at that time. Let's say x plus that, let's say 5 records. Those 5 records you will process. You won't process these x records which you processed, which you already processed. Okay, so never do the reprocessing again and again. Okay, it's not a good approach. Always try to read the newly arrived data. That's it. Okay, that's a thumb rule. Always try to read the newly arrived data. Never try to read the already processed data. Simple. Okay, fine. Now let's go to here. Incremental data select version. As of now, I'll do you. I'll show you how to select this only incremental data for version as of for Snap 1 and Snap 2. You can do select star from Snap 2 as well. Snap 2 and difference. You need to find the difference of these two. I'll show you how to do it easily. Okay, so difference of these two. Okay, now this will give you the incremental or CDC data, delta data. Fine. So that once that is done, read data from iceberg table. Okay, and then load into iceberg table. Load iceberg table. Fine. Once that is done, successful exit. That's it. Here I'm not doing any file movement and all unprocessed files and the processed files. Because why? Because the moment I mentioned I put an iceberg table, it's a table. I will never going to worry about the files underneath that table. Okay, so it's a file. It's a file maybe in the background beneath. So it's a file, but I do not need to worry about this because that worry we already given it to iceberg to take care. So now iceberg is accountable to maintain all these files to us. We do not need to worry about all these files. Okay, so hence I'm not going to worry about moving these files from processed to unprocessed files. Nothing. I do not want to do anything. What I will do, I'll simply check for the target table existence. If the target table exists, fine. If the target table does not exist, I need to load this data into iceberg table. Fine. Here, one more question. Last time, the unprocessed files and processed files, we have a concept, right? That once the process file is processed, we will move that files from unprocessed location to processed location. So whenever my job go and see the unprocessed location, it always sees the newly arrived files. Fine. But how do I do the same thing in this iceberg table? How do I do that? Simple. You need to note your last process snapshot ID. That will help you to fetch the newly arrived data. Okay, how to do that? Fine. I'll show you the that for you. Okay, so you understand this, right? Very in Amazon says using that will take care. Okay, fine. So this is a customer table which you created, branch Amazon DB 60 with the 67 records. Fine. Now you understand that, right? So out of these 67 records, 50 records are from the full load, and the 17 records are the CDC data which we got, and then the 17 records got inserted in the second run. Fine. Okay, so let's try to run a query. Okay, table, and if you remember, I ran this query in the last time history. Okay, if I run this query, the details I will get. See, these are the two snapshot IDs which are created for my table. Okay, so you see, this is the snapshot ID which was made first. Okay, you see, 340 some on 21st, and this is the second snapshot ID. Second snapshot ID, and this is the parent to it. Okay, now let me try to read this snapshot ID. What's the data at this snapshot ID? Okay, um, let me copy these two snapshots and save it here. snapshot 1, this is snapshot 2, right? I am telling this snapshot 1 and snapshot 2 simple. This is the latest and this is the oldest. That means this is a snapshot 0, you can consider snapshot 1, anyone, but this is the snapshot, this is the child snapshot to this parent snapshot. Okay, that's why you see parent ID here. Now if any snapshot created, then this will become a parent to that. Think about a inheritance, like your father is a child to his father. Okay. Fine. Now let's try to read this history. Okay. Then for version as of this day, let's run it and see. See, you got 50 records. Fine. If we go and run this, 67 records. Oh, for this as this has just 50 records, while this has 17 records. Fine. Okay. Fine. Um. So now I need to find those extra 17 records. Got it? So I need to find out extra 17, because if you observe clearly, this has 50 records. Okay, and this has 67 records. I mean 67 records. Now you can clearly see that, right? This snapshot 2 has extra 17 records. Okay, we can clearly see that. You can clearly see that. Now how can I do that? Okay, simple. So let's take this as a 67 records, right? 67 records. Now let me copy this code again. So let's start from this. Okay, okay, fine. Let me try to run this thing. So 50 records, fine. Let me try to run this again. Okay, 67 records. Now let me try to put minus here. I think this function won't work. Except I think this will work. See, I got the 17 records. You are able to see this ring, except. So find the records from here and records from do the exception between these two records. That's it. You see, these are the records which you got. Okay, if you sort by customer ID, so see, these are the records which got updated, then these record got two got deleted, then these three got updated, then these records got inserted. That means these are the 17 records. Now uh, if I run my job that reads from this table, then I need to pick only these 17 records. I do not need to pick the all the 50 records. Then how can I do it? Simple. I need two things here. One, the current snapshot ID and the previous snapshot ID. Okay, previous snapshot ID. Fine. Now current snapshot ID, how can I find? Simple. You always two options. The history we saw it just now. Select star from. We copy this. Okay. Dollar history. Let me try to run this. See if I run this. I got two snapshot IDs. Now what I will do is I will limit it to one. Okay. But before limiting, I will do order by made current at, okay, current at DESC. Now it's supposed to give this final snapshot ID. Okay, now let's try to take this, run it, and it gave me only the snapshot ID. Now instead of doing everything, snapshot underscore ID, let's run it. That's it. So this is the latest snapshot ID of this table. I got this. I can always get this thing done. Now I'll simply run this as well. Okay, so you can get this latest snapshot ID very easily. But how do you get its -1, and it's previous snapshot ID. But simple, maybe let's try to do it. Currently you have only like two records, but in some cases you might have the hundreds, because if you go right, if you go past this some 10 days or 20 days, you'll see more number of snapshot IDs, right? Snapshot IDs. Then how do you pick the latest one from it? Fine, latest one, I always say the same logic, okay? But how do you pick the but one, not the latest, that's previous one. But there are one more thing, that did our glue job process that previous snapshot ID? Did our glue job really process that previous snapshot ID? That means simple. Okay, so let me open Athena again. So in the Athena, if I go to this silver, right? After bronze, it's silver. Let me open this silver. This is a customer table. Let's go and see customer table. How many records we have? I think it got limit. See, 55 records. It's a different practice. So we are doing something, then I got only 50 records, but fine. Let me drop this table. Okay, let me drop this table. Fine. Let's go back to our previous query. Okay, fine. Now I just wanted to pick the delta data. Okay, I just wanted to pick the delta data between these two tables. Then this is a good case approach. Fine. Just whenever my table, whenever my query I'm trying to load into this customer table, right? For the full load, what I will do, what I mentioned here, if I'm going to do a full load, I just mentioned here that uh, if it's a full load, do select star from table. Okay, to do the select star from table. Now if my table do the select star from this table, now on this table, customer table, then what do I get? If you see, what do I get? These are the 67 records I will get from this table. Okay, this is a snapshot ID. My table will get these 67 records. Okay, if I do select star from this branch table, okay, simple, if I go and do this select star from table, I'm getting 67 records. 67 records. That means this select star from table is referring to the latest snapshot ID. Latest snapshot ID. Then in a similar way, if my glue job trying to read this select star from table, it will always refer to latest snapshot ID. You might think, uh, why it always refer to latest snapshot ID? Why can't it refers to the oldest snapshot ID or the first snapshot ID that it got created? No. Why we need to do that? Always the size bar table, whenever you do select start from table, unless you specify the snapshot ID which you wanted to read, it will always read the latest snapshot ID of the table. Okay, so that's why it's always read the latest snapshot ID for you. Fine, 67 records. Now these 67 records, okay, I will do some processing, because if you take the same records and put it into your silver layer, there is no point of view, right? You need to do some processing, because instead of why you are going to put into silver, you need to clean this data, to apply some data quality rules, okay, some cleaning, and then put it into silver layer. Then you can apply business rules on top of that. Okay, but if you don't do anything and just put it, that's a waste of energy and computation for you. Fine. Now the moment I read the 67 records, fine, I went and loaded this records into this uh, silver table. Fine. Now again my table ran. This table ran for the PADP, I mean branch. Okay, my table has ran. Fine. Now we do not have any records. There are no CDC data. There is no delta data. That means no transactions happen at least. Think in this way. Entire Amazon website got down. Then is there a possibility to any transaction to happen? No, transactions cannot happen if the entire Amazon is down. Fine, that means you won't get any CDC data. Now if you do not have any CDC data, now my table will find that, okay, as per this logic, I always check for if the table exists or not. Will my silver table exist? Yes, it will exist. It will exist now. Now that means it needs to do the incremental load. Okay, incremental load. Then how we are going to do the incremental load? We discussed that. Okay, you always need to go to the select start from table, and okay, find the latest two snapshot IDs, and from the latest snapshot ID, read all the data and minus it from the and do this select star from bronze table and go with the version of -1 snapshot, yet latest -1 snapshot. Okay, so if you do the difference, expect accept, then you will find the those 17 records. Fine, but is it really correct? No, because I already processed the 67 records. Currently, there is no CDC data. That means my silver job supposed to run run without processing any records, because there are no records. There are only 67 records which I already processed. Okay. Now, if I go and see this table, then I need to found that okay, there is no records to process. How I can uh, tell my glue job that okay, you do not need to process this table now because there is no CDC data. Simple. What we discussed, new snapshot will be created whenever you do any small change on top of this iceberg table. If you do a small change, very minute change, if you add a comma or a space to a cell in the table, then that will create a snapshot. Any small change, any minute change, that will create a new snapshot for you. Okay, but in this case, as there is no CDC data, there is no record to process or update in this in this branch table, then you won't have any snapshot ID created. Okay, any snapshot ID created. Now, like I need to convey same information to my silver job. How can I convey that information? Because I need to tell them that you already processed this snapshot ID. You do not need to process this snapshot ID again. How can I pass this information? That means I cannot every time go and query this and see, okay, did I process this? Did I not process this? No, I cannot do that stuff. I cannot do it manually. I do not want manual intervention here. I want it to automate the process. So that's when I always save my last processed snapshot ID. Last process snapshot ID. Let's say, let's put the same example. Same example. Okay. So okay, last process. Let's say first pipeline run. Okay. Now my branch job will run for 50 records. Okay, and create snap one. Okay, this snap I will call it as branch snap one. Fine. Now my silver job will run on top of these 50 records and create silver snap one. Okay, in other words, this silver snap one is built on top on using built using branch snap one. Fine, snap one. Fine, that's the first step. Step one. Let's go here. Step two. I mean, if it's difficult for you, do not worry. Just try to focus again and again. Refocus. Sometimes you need to refocus to learn new things. Now, step three. You'll forget about the gold job now. Let's focus on only these two jobs. Okay. Second pipeline run. Okay. Second pipeline run. That means after you are scheduling this right every day. So second pipeline run. Let's say step three, right? Now, step three, bronze job will run for some 50 records or something, because you know, right? We processed only 17 records in the next one. Around 17 records and create bronze snap 2. Now, this bronze snap 2 will have 50 records. Okay, I'm going to put it very theoretically so that you guys can understand. Okay. Now, this bronze snap 2 will have 67 records. Okay, because I just processed 17 records. Fine, cool, right? So we were able to do that. Now, step 2, and that will create a bronze snapshot to us. Step 4. Okay, now silver job will run on top of these 17 records. Okay, 17 records and create silver snapshot 2. In other words, this silver snapshot 2 is built using bronze snapshot 2. Right? Simple, simple. That's it. If it's an next run, it's very simple. Let's take this. This is third. Okay. Bronze will ingest, let's say, 10 records. Okay. Now it will have 77 records. Okay. Now again, silver job will run on top of this 10 records, and in other words, this silver snapshot 3 is created on top of this bronze snapshot 3. Okay. 3. Fine. Fine. Now let's go to the fourth run. Fourth run. I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fourth pipeline run. 7, 8. Okay. Now bronze will run on for 0 records. 0 records. If it ran with 0 records without any transformation, does it going to create a new snapshot ID? No, no new snapshot ID. We have as it is 77 records. No new snapshot ID. Okay. No solution. Now silver job need to run on top of these 0 records. Okay. Then it should not have any snapshot ID. In other words, this silver snapshot 3 uh, is built on top of snapshot 3. Okay. I think we can ignore this part. Okay. No new snapshot ID created. Snapshot created if as there are no new records formed. Simple. I think this will help you understand, right? So we have everything here. So on the first pipeline run, bronze job will run for 50 records and create 50 records and new snapshot ID. The second run, your silver job supposed to read only these 50 records. Okay, only these 50 records and process this 50 records is full. That means that's a full load. Silver snapshot will run for this. Silver snapshot 1 will be created using this bronze snapshot 1. Okay, now in the second pipeline run, bronze job will run for only 17 records. Fine. Your bronze snapshot 2 table will have 67 records, but you need to process only the 17 records. Now silver job will need to run on top of these 17 records. How it will be able to run it? Simple. Bronze snapshot 2, okay, minus bronze snapshot 1. That's it. If you take this bronze snapshot to 67 records and do minus on these records, then you will process only 17 records. Now it will create a silver snapshot to you, 2 for us. In other words, the silver snapshot 2 is built using bronze snapshot 2 minus bronze snapshot 1. Simple. Maybe let me take this. Okay, simple. That's it. Now let's do the third pipeline run. Now bronze job will run on top of 10 records. New file arrived and that file has 10 records. Fine. It will create a snapshot of 3 and it will have the 77 records in total. Now when my job run, it needs to run on top of this 10 records only. It needs to run okay, on top of this 10 records. Now how can I do this? Silver snapshot 3. In other words, silver snapshot 3 is built using bronze snapshot 2 minus this is for bronze previous bronze. Now it will be done using bronze snapshot 2 and this will be bronze snapshot 3. Okay, so see, in other words, this silver snapshot 3, this snapshot 3 is built using bronze snapshot 3 minus bronze snapshot 2. Okay, now for the fourth run, it has bronze job will run on 0 records. That means bronze snapshot 3 is still will have this. There is no bronze snapshot 4. No new snapshot ID. Still old snapshot ID. No new snapshot ID. Still old bronze snap 3. Okay, snapshot ID and bronze snap 3. Okay, bronze snap 3 and we'll have 77 records. That's it. Because earlier it was 77 records, now it should be 77 records. Now if my silver job ran, it's supposed to find out there are new snapshot ID. There is no new snapshot ID. There is no records. How my silver will get to know? New snapshot ID created as there is no new records found. Till now I mentioned that bronze snapshot 3 minus bronze snapshot ID. But now it needs to realize that there is no new snapshot ID. How can I know it? Okay, that's where um, because my silver currently how we did, we always went to pick the latest snapshot ID. Here latest snapshot ID. This will become the latest, right? Latest to bronze table. Okay, bronze table, fine. Bronze table, latest to bronze table, and this will be our latest. Okay, latest to bronze, right? So it's still the world snapshot. Okay, so we always pick the latest to bronze table. Okay, this snapshot one, in the full load we were not going to do that. Okay, so the full load is run. Okay, so in the using this snapshot only, plain snapshot one, because in the full load you do not have the previous snapshot ready to run this 50 records, so it's just plain snapshot ready, fine. But if you go with the second snapshot ready, you need to separate this bronze snapshot 2, okay, minus this snapshot 1. That will help you to create. But again, this third run, maybe third run, a bronze snapshot 3 minus snapshot 2. Okay, now if you follow same approach here, the same approach here, blindly, let's say my glue job is doing blindly, getting the latest last two snapshot IDs and just creating a records out of it. And then if I do it blindly, then I will get 10 records now. If my glue job run blindly on top of last two snapshots of my bronze table, that means bronze snap 3, okay, minus bronze snap 2, then I will get 10 records. 10 records, okay, 10 records. These 10 records I already processed here. I've already processed here and created silver snap 3. Now again I will process this 10 records and creating a silver snap 3, which is definitely incorrect. Which is definitely incorrect. I think silver snap 4. It is definitely incorrect, as you already processed these 10 records. You already processed it. But again, if your glue job ran your glue job ran blindly and process this, getting these 10 records again, how can I stop this blindness? Blindness. Okay, so now how can I stop this? How can I rectify this? Okay, simple. Whenever you process any data from your bronze table, just note it down. Okay, note it down. That means simple. So let's go here. Let's go to here. Silver job is ran on this, right? So on the step two, step two. Okay, let's note that. Maybe let's do it this way. Let's maintain some last process snapshot ready here. Last processed snapshot ID. Okay, so somewhere, maybe some table, someplace in my mind. Let's store it in my mind. Let's store below value in my mind. Okay, fine. I'm a robo and I'm storing it in my mind. Fine. Now, when you created your first snapshot ID, silver snap 1. Okay, silver snap 1. Okay, silver snap 1. That's the first snapshot ID for this table. Okay, so that when you create the silver snap 1, what was the bronze snapshot you used to build it? When I created the silver snap 1, I used bronze snap 1 to build it. Bronze snap 1 to build it. Let's save that here. Bronze snap 1. Now When you created a silver snapshot 2, silver snapshot, now you come to second pipeline run, and now here when you came to the silver snap 1, you just found when you what you will do is you'll just go to this bronze, okay, and bronze has 17 records. That means it has a bronze snapshot 2. Now what you will do is simply you know this bronze. How can we find this bronze snapshot? This is the latest snapshot ID, right? Latest to bronze table. How we are able to find it? It's simple. You will do this, run this query, select star from history, and out of this, if you run this, you will always find the latest snapshot ID, right? Latest snapshot ID. That's what we saw here, right? Latest snapshot ID. This is the latest. Okay, you can easily find that. But your last process snapshot ID, you can get it from here. Now you can simply you found that, okay, when you run that query, you found that latest bronze table is snapshot ID is bronze snapshot 2. You found it. Then with the help of that bronze snapshot 2 and you last process snapshot ID. So I can mention that last process, right? Last processed snapshot ID, right? This is the last process snapshot. You can simply you already noted this down, bronze snapshot 1. Then you can simply do minus from these two. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now let's go to third pipeline run. Now I will save this. Now as I process the bronze snapshot 2, I will save this here. Bronze snapshot 2. Fine. Now you come to third pipeline run. Fine. Now bronze job will run for 10 records and create a bronze snapshot 3. Now I will use using this query. Let me place it here. Okay. So query to fetch latest snapshot ready. It's not the processed, latest snapshot ready. Okay, so with the help of this query you can fetch it. Okay, so with the help of this query, you will just fetch latest snapshot ready. Fine, let's go here. We are in the third pipeline run, right? Okay, now you will process this bronze snapshot ready. This bronze snapshot ready, you will get it from this query. Okay, this will help you to fetch the latest snapshot ID. That means bronze snapshot ID you got, but you saved this bronze snapshot too. That is, there is a difference. That is, there could be new data. Then you just do minus between these two snapshot IDs. Bronze snapshot 3 minus bronze snapshot 2. That will help you to create. Um, that will help you to create this. Where is this silver snap 3? Right. That will help. In other words, this silver snap 3 is built on using bronze snapshot 3 and snapshot 2. Fine. Now let's go to fourth snapshot ID. Fourth pipeline run. Okay. So now we will update bronze snapshot 3. Okay. Now my bronze job ran. Will run for 0 records. That means no new snapshot ID is created. Still bronze snapshot 3. Now I will get this bronze snap. Now I will simply go and get the last process snapshot ID from my mind. In the mind, I stored that it's a bronze snapshot 3. Fine. Now in the job, I mean, with the help of this query to fetch the latest snapshot ID, I will query it, and then I will still I will find bronze snap 3. You find bronze snap 3. Now this snap and this snap are same. This snap, the snap which I get from this query and the snap which I have in mind, both are same. That means there is no difference. There is nothing happened in the previous run. Then I will skip my incremental load. Then this blindness is get resolved. Right. Currently, till now, what we are doing, we are just getting this new latest snapshot ID via this query, and we are also fetching the last. I mean, not with this query. We are always fetching the last two records, last two latest two snapshot IDs for the table. We're just trying to process it. But if I do it that, then this is the issue I will hit. Even though that I already processed this 10 records, I'm still processing that. I'm again processing it and updating it to my table, which is not a right approach. So to avoid that blindness, I will always save the last process snapshot ID in my mind. But can we store, let's say, maybe for now today I will store this in mind. Maybe in future, let's say for 10 tables, I need to store 10 values in my mind. Maybe after some time there will be 100 tables. That's a production. Okay, you have that many records production. Okay, then can you store all those 100 records in your mind? Maybe you can store, but it's a random number. It's always a random number, and there is a chance of error, right? This is a random number, 66571154326. It's a random error. You cannot trust. Humans makes mistakes. Okay, so you cannot trust that. So that's why i need to find a I need to find a service where I can store my last process snapshot ID. What is that? What are the services I have? Services I have Okay, the services I have simple. As per industry, right? As per the experts mentioned, you have a few services: Aurora, RDS, okay, DynamoDB. You have many table kind of structure, right? See, you always need to find out what is the last process snap study. You can do it, you can place it in S3 in a file, or you can do it many ways. But these are the two things you available for now. I mean, there are many things. I'm not going to discuss all those things and confuse you, but just keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. You have two options here. Either use RDS. RDS is a relational table, maybe you guys know, right, how to do from here. So simple, select star from table, okay, where maybe not that last process snapshot id, um, last process snapshot id from table, okay, where job name or table name, or let's say you find anything, any key, okay, is equal to pass it. Let's say my current job is, let's say, silver. That's a silver job, right? So customer table bronze, this is some, let's say, some my job name. Let me pass my job name. So job name is equal to blue underscore um customer, I think, not customer, yeah, customer underscore bronze to silver. So if I do this, then I always get this branch, this latest last process snapshot, right? I will always store it. How I am going to store it? The moment I process this, the moment I process this snapshot three, right? So the moment I process this snapshot three, I will load it to. I will load snapshot three to the table. Just a second, my battery is running low. Okay, I will load this bronze snapshot ID to the table. Which table I will let you know. DynamoDB table or control table I will let you know. But I always load these bronze snapshot IDs to this. Okay. Snapshot 3, snapshot 2. Here I will update. Here I will update the bronze snapshot 1. Okay, so this snapshot 1 I updated to the table, and this snapshot 2 I updated to the table, and snapshot 3 I updated to the table. Fine. Now my table will contain this thing, and whenever I fetch it, it always gives us this. And with the help of this, I will find whether I need there is a new data or not. If the latest snapshot ID which I fetch using this query, okay, the query, um, let's say query one, let's say query one, let's say query one, and query two, query two. Where is this? Query 2. I always fetch this query 1 and run this query 1 and query 2. If the both has the same snapshot ID, that means there is no new data. If the both, let's say there is an issue, there is a mismatch, then that means there is some data that I need to process and merge into my target table. Fine. That's how I will do it. Now, which one I wanted to use? Simple. Yeah, if you go and see a difference between RR, RDS and a DynamoDB table, let me give this as a task to you. Okay. Let's start. Research on, I'm not sure who is going to note this down, but Dynamo DB versus Aurora, Aurora tables. Sorry, not Aurora. Yeah, Aurora tables. DynamoDB tables versus Aurora tables. Simple. Research on it. Then, as per my knowledge, I'm just keep it very simple. So Aurora is a bit cost expensive. Okay. You need to perform some heavy operations. You need to create some database. You know, right? I created Aurora database. It took $14 for me, right? It's a bit expensive, but if you compare with the DynamoDB is it's also same performance, but DynamoDB is less cost. Okay, now cost is fine. DynamoDB has more cost, less cost compared to this Aurora ADS. Fine. So which one I need to select? I need to always look for the cost as well as the efficiency. Efficiency. In my case, I just need one. I just need to maintain these things. What are these things? Job name, job name, and last process snapshot ID to it. That's it. So these are the two values I need to maintain. Let's say my glue job is this. In the table, I need to maintain these values. Silver is this. Then just mention bronze snapshot 1. Then when I process the new snapshot, I will just come and update here. That's it. So I just need these two values. Now Aurora is very good. You can use Aurora always. So it will shine if you have a more complex queries and all SQL queries. But you have a less SQL queries, SQL type queries, then always prefer DynamoDB table. Okay, so that's when I decided that let's go with DynamoDB table. Okay, let's select this. Selected due to its KV nature. I'm not going to tell you what is KV nature. Just please go and research on it. KV nature and low cost, comma, high availability, high availability and efficiency. Okay, so because of these reasons, that it doesn't mean Aurora RDS do not have these things. It has these things, but key value nature is only present in DynamoDB table and low cost, comparatively low cost. Okay, so uh, not selected. It's a good to know because you always have this question in your mind. Right? As a data engineer, you need to figure out. Okay, selected due not selected due to its key non-key value nature, non-key value nature. I think I already revealed it now. Mm, Value nature and comparatively high cost. High availability is there, efficiency is there, so that's why I'm not opting this. Okay, just do these two conditions. Not selected due to its non-key value nature and comparatively high cost. Okay, this is selected due to its key value nature and low cost. That's it. These are the two points. Because why I'm telling this is interview, someone asks you why you are going with the DynamoDB, why not Aurora RDS? What is the other option you have other than DynamoDB? You can mention RDS, but RDS I haven't selected because of this non-key value nature and high cost compared to this DynamoDB table. That's it. Simple. So that's how you're going to build your table. Okay, so to build this thing we just need these things. Okay, try to put this in a single document only so that you can understand easily. I know I'm making things use. I'm not making things. See, things might look complex to you. Fine, fine, fine. No issues, no issues with that. Okay, just everything is a complex until you learn it. Okay, so just try to focus, focus, focus. Then you can understand all these things. Okay, so yeah, so you see, check the target table exists or not. Read the data from iceberg table using last process snapshot ID. Simple. Put into iceberg table. Load in the sense we always do the merge. Okay, merge into target table. What is merge? I'll let you know. Merge iceberg table, successful exit. So these are the steps we need to build. Okay, these steps we will try to build tomorrow. Okay, that's it for today's class. You guys have any doubts, just let me know, otherwise we can wind up. Okay, um okay, thank you. Any doubts, or otherwise we can be wind up.
Yeah, no doubt, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sir, how many days is left, sir?
Just give me a moment.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Who is asking something, right? What
Sir,
are they?
still how many
Uh,
classes do we have, sir?
Okay, so actually, they were asked us to 60 sessions, but currently this is the 54th session, right? Yeah, let's see. I mean, I'm not looking for these sessions to complete. I'm just wanted to share the data with you, knowledge with you, so that let's see how many classes it will take. Maybe this 60 classes we will wrap up, or maybe we will go past that 60 as well. That we'll see. But I always prefer knowledge over these sessions. Okay, so number of sessions doesn't matter. Maybe 10 sessions I can complete this knowledge with 2 hours each session, or I can take half an hour session and complete it in 40-50 sessions as well. That can also happen. But no, I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on sharing the knowledge with you so that you can utilize that and create and get some good opportunities. Okay, so yeah, it's not up to the sessions, it's always up to the knowledge you can gain from these classes. Okay, so even after these sessions are got over, then let's see.